Hi guys, welcome back to the Finicky channel and welcome back to Cat Sitter Corner. My name is Beth and I am a pet sitter, cat sitter with 13 years experience. And today I want to specifically cater this video to the pet sitters out there who have chosen to be solo sitters. And we see this come up time and again in a lot of the groups and a lot of conversation with solo sitters is the grind. And as solo sitters, we can find ourselves really working too hard. So in today's video, I want to touch on a few things to maybe help you put a little better perspective on what you're doing and why you're doing it. I want to talk about some of the things from scarcity mindset, vision for your life, what your lifestyle looks like and where you want it to go, and how we can do some damage control with that. Now, just to clarify, I'm not a psychologist. I am a cat behavior consultant and a cat sitter and a cat business owner. So with a lot of just years of experience and with things that I have been through in my own business and with my own self, with myself over the course of a decade or longer. So the first thing we want to look at is if you are a pet sitter who is solo sitting and you are very exhausted, it's the end of summer, we've got the September, kind of a September break, then we're going to be going into the October, November, December, New Year's push. And most of us are going to make a lot of money during that push. We're going to have a lot of sits to do, a lot of clients, demands on us. And I think, now is a good time to review what worked for you in the summer. What damage control do you want to have going forward? And that may mean that you're going to be getting requests from new clients that actually don't fit your vision for your business. Give me just a second. Come on, sweetie. There you go. So those are some of the things that you want to keep in mind or want to think about is what worked for you over the summer that really is not part of your vision for what you want your life to look like as a solo sitter. Oftentimes, we get into a scarcity mindset where we are thinking we have to take every single thing that phone call and every client that calls me, I have to have that one. I have to take that one to pay my bills. And if you're a really small sitter just starting out, you might be really tempted to do something like that. And I would caution you against doing that. If that particular situation doesn't fit your vision for your business or your vision for your lifestyle. Really, we should be talking about what does that vision look like for you? Does it look like what you're doing right now? Up at 6 a.m. to the first visit by 7 a.m. and you're going all the way until 10 p.m. at night. That's not why you started your business. It's not. You love the pets, you love everything that goes with it, but that's not living. That's grinding. That's making yourself a slave to your business. And you want to get out of that mindset, that scarcity mindset. And the only way I have found to be able to convince people to take that step back is to actually go all the way back to the beginning of when you started your business. Did you write that mission statement? And even before you wrote the mission statement, did you have a desire of what your life would look like? You know, does your life have a family in it and kids and a future that you're working towards? Or are you just going to grind away in the business day in and day out every day and not have anything to show for it? So, I think one of the biggest challenges we have as pet sitters is we jump into this business as a side hustle, and then all of a sudden we figure out, wow, I can make a living at this. But we don't take the steps to address how to make a living, or what does that living look like for me in my city, in my family, and my lifestyle. And we run into that situation where all of a sudden it becomes a scarcity mindset that takes over. And that's when you lose control. That's when you become burned out. That's that point where it stops being fun. And this is also the same point that a lot of business coaches will jump in and say, time to hire. It's time to get the accountant. It's time to get the office manager. It's time to do all of those things. But you may be a person, and there's nothing wrong with it, that you don't want to manage people. And it's okay. It's okay to say that. You don't want to manage people. Some of us are good at it. Some of us are not so good at it. And it's just not, we know in our hearts and in our souls, down to our core, that's not what we want to do. So how does a solo sitter, what does that setting those boundaries actually begin to look like? And you're setting boundaries. That's the key. You have to set those boundaries for yourself, not for some fictitious staff that's out there, or for your client, boundaries for your clients. These boundaries that you're setting have to be for yourself. And if that means for yourself that you're not going to be running, you're not going to take that client that demands that 6 a.m. doggy turnout. You're not going to take that client that demands an 11 p.m. or midnight turnout. It may be that you decide that I can't do overnight pet sitting. It may be that you decide I don't want to do midday dog walks. It may be that you decide I don't want to deal with cats, or I don't want to deal with dogs, because it doesn't fit your core. You don't have, as a solo sitter, you don't have to be everything for everyone. As a solo sitter, you have a really cool niche and luxury, I call it a luxury, that you can really sit back and specialize into how you want your business to run. You can specialize in the kinds of clients that you want to work with. And then that makes you not everybody's sitter. That boundary then takes away that scarcity mindset. That boundary makes you exclusive and not overworked. That boundary and those, you're now doing things different and better than some of the bigger pet sitting companies. And there are client bases out there that recognize that. They want that. They want that personalized care. To give you an idea what to consider as your exclusive, I highly recommend reading the book Small Giants. And it's a book that talks, and I'll put a link for it down below in the description. That book talks about small business owners that decided to actually stay small and how they go about it and still succeed and still are profitable. And I think you'll find some inspiration in that particular book. When you decide to be a solo sitter, you cannot really be volume-based pet sitting. And so, that's the luxury. That volume-based type business is the luxury of the bigger companies. They can get away with volume-based dog walking, pet sitting, whatever. As a solo sitter, you really need to deal more on that exclusive end. And as such, once you decide how you want to differentiate from that, and you want to deliver a very high-end clientele experience, you're going to be able to charge more money for your services versus somebody else who is one of the larger companies. An example I can think of right off the bat is when I was still doing dog walking, I did not offer regular dog walking. All the dog walking that I offered was classified as structured dog walking. And this meant that your dog, there were 5 basic components to it that I explained to every client. At the end of 2 weeks, went out with the client, showed them what the dog had learned during the dog walking program, and then we continued to walk the dog on a daily basis, and the owners could walk their dog on a daily basis as well. And it was sold as a structured dog walk at a higher price point than your average dog walking company. So that's just one example. For my cat sitting business, just my sheer background and experience now has become the selling point for the price point that I charge for cat sitting. These are things that you can look into as you consider yourself exclusive versus as a solo sitter, you're never going to be volume based. You really have to accept that concept that you're not volume based. You can't do it all, and nobody should expect you to do it all. This is where it goes back to your vision for your lifestyle and for your company. Even though you're a solo sitter, it's your company. It's still your company. This is where you look at your exclusiveness as, are you the generic brand, or are you the name brand? And you can be the name brand. You really can be. And what you'll find when you start moving in that direction, even the larger companies are going to be like, what is she doing? What are they doing? What are they doing differently? So be prepared. They're going to start to try and copy what you're doing. And they're not going to be able to do it because they have to train every staff member to do it. They have to train every person to do it. They have to be consistent in doing it. They need to reach out and get that consistent level of service. And If you're an existing solo pet sitter and you're a member of any of the professional groups, you know gaining that consistency with staff is very difficult because they work alone. They can get away with just about anything they want to do. And as a solo sitter, well, it's you. It's your responsibility to be consistent. And you take it very seriously. If you're this far along in my little lecture here, you take it very seriously. So those are things to think about, some things to consider, is take that step back here in this month of September, take a breath, look at how your summer went. Are you feeling burned out? Are you looking forward to the next day when nobody's scheduled anything instead of saying, I'm scheduling these days to take care of myself? Right now for my life and my lifestyle, I'm loving having my pet sits for the cats in the early morning hours and in the evening hours, and then I have most of the day to myself. And I can sit down and I can try and write a script for YouTube, and I can try and reach out to other solo pet sitters and cat sitters to help you rethink how you're going about your business. That's it for today. Let me know what you're thinking down in the comments. If you want to reach out to me and chat about what's going on, feel free to do that too. I'll help you any way I can with some insights. Like I said, as solo sitters, we have to be careful to not burn ourselves out, especially going into the back end of this holiday season. We want to be sure we set some boundaries so that we can spend them with friends and family and enjoy the holidays just as much as our clients are. Have a great day, and we'll see you on the next video.